Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com, and in this tutorial we're going to look at how you can allow your application to let the user select a picture from the gallery. So since the last tutorial I've added some more code to my Note Squirrel application, and in fact let's take a look at it. And if I hold down the recent apps button, or in an older phone I'll press the menu button, and I go to this replace image option, I get this dialog which asks me if I want to either take a photo or browse the gallery. And if I take a photo, it will run my camera action, and it will save the photo, the URI of the photo that the camera returns, in a preference, and set it as the image for my application. And let's just take a quick look. One thing that I didn't cover out of that lot in a previous tutorial was how you can have a custom dialog with, for example, 2 buttons in it or whatever you want. And that's actually pretty simple. All you do is, let's see, so I've got here's my replace image dialog, and you use get layout inflator.inflate, and here is an XML layout with my 2 buttons in it, and I've just done builder.setView on the return value of getLayoutInflator.inflate, passing it the ID of that XML, and that allows you to create custom dialogues, which is what I've done. So there's nothing massively new there, and I figured it didn't really justify a whole tutorial in itself. And the camera code is stuff that we've covered before in a previous tutorial, but now I want to show you how to browse the gallery. And in this tutorial we'll just look at creating an intent to browse the gallery, and then in the next tutorial we'll go on to looking at how you retrieve the actual data that the gallery returns. So if I click that button in my dialog, let's take a look. If I click this browse gallery button, I've got a listener here to that button which just runs this browse gallery method, and at the moment that's empty. Now what I need to do here is create an intent, and I'm going to say intent I equals, and I could create an implicit intent that lets the user select an image from any available source, but since it's already hard enough to get the return value just from the gallery, what with users using possibly different custom file managers and that kind of thing, I'm just going to stick to an explicit intent that explicitly launches the gallery action. And I'm going to say here new intent, and for the first argument I'm going to say intent.action, whoops, I keep getting this from Eclipse, which is quite annoying, intent.action pick. Here we go. And to specify the actual activity to run, I'm going to say media store dot images dot media dot external content URI, and this intent will hopefully run the gallery, and it will bring me back a URI of a kind of unique identifier within the gallery of the image that was selected. And then in the next tutorial I'll have to do a little bit of work to get the actual image itself, the actual image file from that URI. But let's say start activity for result, and pass it the intent. And for the request code here, I'm going to create a request code. So I've already got my photo taken request code, which I set to 0, and I'm going to say private static final int select image, or let's actually call it browse gallery underscore request, and I'll set that equal to 1, and it doesn't matter what number I set it to as long as it's different to this one. And let's go down here, and now I can fill in this integer request code here to browse gallery request, and let's run this. Oh, and actually while I'm at it, I'm just going to copy that, because I'm going to go to my onActivity result, which I'm already using. I've already overridden this method for my camera image, but here I'm going to say if request code equals browse gallery request, and in here I can fill in some more stuff. But for the moment, what I'll do is I'll say toast.make text, and for the text I'll say gallery result, and let's just I'm just going to output the value data.getData. Data is actually the intent here that's passed to one activity result. I've just called it data, or you could call it intent or something. Let's supply here toast.length_long. I'll say .show, and hopefully that will allow us to see what the gallery actually returns, and we'll look at that more in the next tutorial. So your onActivity result gets past this intent, which I've called data, and I'm just saying the intent here .getData, which should get me a URI. And let's go back to my phone here. So I'll just go back to the Android screencast program. Actually, I've started protecting my phone with a pin, which, although it's annoying, I was getting really worried about what would happen if I lost my phone and someone had access to all my email accounts. Okay, so I'm just going to log into my application here by pressing the right points, and here we are. Let's bring up this menu, and I press replace image and browse gallery, and with a bit of luck we'll go into the gallery, and here we are. Here's the gallery, and I can select a photo here. Let's select this one rather than this ugly shot of me, and there we go. And if you're quick enough, whoops, it's gone now. Let's try that again, see if it works again, although my application might now be in some kind of crazy inconsistent state. Let's take a look. Here we go. Content : /media / external, and so on. That is a URI of a image in the gallery, but it's not the file name of an image, and in the next tutorial we're going to see how to get the file name. So that's it for this tutorial, and until next time, happy coding.